Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to calculate market beta in Excel. And there are two ways to do this. And so whatever share you want to use or calculate market beta for, you can always do this in Excel in a very simple way. So first things first, let's just decide what we're going to use. I think for simplicity, let's just use NVIDIA, for example. And what we're going to go and do is we're going to go and download the closing price as the historical data for NVIDIA. And we're also going to do the same thing for a market index. So I like to use investing.com. You don't have to, you can also use Yahoo Finance, but I'm just used to this. If you want to use investing.com, you will have to just sign up to download the data, to download historical data, but it is free, so it doesn't really matter. And what you want to do is use quite a long period for this, because then it's going to be a bit more accurate. So the more data points you have, the more accurate it's going to be. So you can use daily market data, but then this is going to make it a bit more noisy. I would suggest maybe weekly or even monthly, but we want to use as far back a period as possible. So I would say let's use at least 5 years. So let's just change this to 5 years, for example. And we click apply. And what you're going to see is it's updated here, and we're just going to hit download. So that's going to download. And then we're going to do this, the same thing for the index. So in this instance, I'm going to use the S&P 500. You can use any other index. So for example, if you wanted to do it against the NASDAQ, because NVIDIA is listed on NASDAQ, but let's just use the S&P 500 for this example. So we're going to do exactly the same thing here. We're going to go and get historical data. And we're going to change it also to weekly so it matches our time horizon, and change the date range also so that we have the same date range as the share that we're looking at. Awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that information in Excel. So let me just open up Excel. So your data is going to look like this. You're going to have the date, the market closing price, the opening price, the high, the low, the volume, but we don't actually need any of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bore you the part where I put it together, but what we want is 2 columns showing you the price for both the share and also the price for the index. So give me a second, I'm going to put that together. Okay, there we go. So now I've got exactly what I need from the two. It's just their closing prices, and all I've done is I've labeled them here to make it a bit easier. The next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to calculate the return between each point. So a simple way to do this is just in a cell, click equals, starting with our old price divided by, our current price divided by our old price, and then just remember to put -1. You can do that. Or the other way to also do it, if you don't want to do it that way, you can also go, but it takes a little bit more work. So your old price minus your current price, close your bracket again, divided by your old price. So you get the exact same result. I just find it quicker if you do the -1 route. And you don't have to, but if you want to, you can put this then in the percentage terms up here to make it a bit easier. So now we're going to want to do the same for the S&P returns. So you're going to see I've got a value. So you're going to see here I've got a value error, but this is just because it's picking up a comma here. So if you ever want to get rid of something like that, you just go Control F, and you're going to get this little dialog box that says find and replace. So we're going to go and find all the commas, and we're going to replace them with nothing. And you're going to see it now has removed them. So I'm just going to put them in proper formats, and you're going to see that's fixed our value error. So if you ever get that and you want a quick way to remove that, that's a simple thing to do. And now we want to do this for all of the returns we have. So all we do is we select both of them, and we take the little box and we just drag it all the way down till we get to the bottom. Now we don't want to do it for the last row because it's going to give us an error, but I'm going to show you anyway. So because you can't divide something by a number, so let's just delete that. And that is everything we actually need to now calculate that. But let's just label the rows here to make it a little bit easier. And the formula we're going to use for this one to calculate the beta is the slope formula. So we can go equals slope, open brackets, and your known y value, and then we'll do our known x value. So in this instance, our known y value is the share that we're looking at, which is NVIDIA. So if we, in this section here, we want to put all the share price. So the simple way to do this, we can go and drag it down all the way like that. But if you want, you go Control Shift and you press your down arrow and it'll take you all the way to the bottom. Same thing again, now we'll put a comma in so it goes to our known x value. And I'm going to just do the shortcut again. So I click the bottom one now and I go Control Shift and the up arrow, and it'll take me all the way to the top. But I don't want the last one, so I just go Shift and down one again. It's just some good shortcuts there. And then to close off the formula. And there we go. Now that's the beta. So what you can see is it's 2.08 compared to the market index. Now, this isn't the only way to do an Excel. There is also another quick way to do it, and that's using our data analysis tools. So if you don't have this option in Excel, it's very simple to get. All you do is you go to File, Options, and you're going to get this little pop-up. You go Add-ins, and over here under Manage Excel Add-ins, all you do is you hit Go, and you're going to have here Analysis ToolPak. So in this instance, it's selected for me already because I've got it. But if you wanted to add it, all you do is you click tick here and you click OK, and it's going to then pop up over here for you to use. But it's pretty much exactly the way we've done it, except this is going to give us a bit more information. So if we use that, we're going to look here for the regression tool, and we click OK, and it's just going to ask us for exactly the same information we used in that slope formula. So input for Y, we just press the little button here and we can then select Y. So all we do is we go and we select all of Y. And then we're going to do the same thing for X. So I'm just going to do X. And everything else here you don't really need to touch. In terms of the output, we're going to just put it onto a new sheet, so that's just easier to view. But there's nothing else that we actually need to change here. So we just go OK. And it's going to give us this breakdown. And a lot of this is going to look very familiar from your statistics classes that you did. I know we covered a lot of this when we did statistics at university. So a lot of this is going to be exactly the same. So you got your R squared, you got your standard error, and you've got all of these options here. But what actually is our market beta? It's this variable 1 coefficient. That is our market beta. And you notice it's exactly the same as what we calculated with the slope 2.08846. 2.08846. So you see it works out exactly the same. I think this method here using the regression analysis is so much easier. But whichever is easiest for you if you want to get that. If you like this, I'm happy to do more content like this. I want to do sort of a series where I also help you calculate your correlation matrix. That is a bit of work, but it can be done in Excel as well. And once you've set up the template, it's actually very easy. So if you like this, leave a comment. I respond to all of my comments. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.